Alcohol is completely ruining your life. Now, not quite. Let me explain. Every time that I've made great progress in my life, right? And I'm 22 years old. I'm not fucking 40, right? So, my opinion's only ever since I started drinking. If you're someone from the UK, you probably start drinking around the age of like 14, 15. It's pretty young compared to a lot of places. Now, don't get me wrong, like I love a drink, right? I love going to the pub with all my mates. I don't love going out, but every now and then it's fun, right? And it's fun to go to events, go watch people, watch live music, all of this type of stuff. And there's 100% a place for alcohol in my life, 1,000,000%. But in the same breath, if you're thinking and wanting to make progress in your life, no matter what you're doing, whether you're working really hard for exams, whether you're working on your degree, whether you're training for an Ironman or a marathon, or whether you're trying to lock in and make money online and start learning new skill, whatever it is, right? It requires time and attention. And in order to get the best progress, you need to be putting in a lot of time. Now, for me, I find that when I drink, I don't feel sharp. If I go out and I have 10 pints on a Friday or Saturday, I wake up the next day and I feel like shit. Now, some people are lucky enough that they don't really get hangovers, and fair play to them, lucky you. But in my case, and I feel like most people's case, you feel like dog shit the next day. You do not feel good. Now, if you're trying to consistently make progress with something and you're every 5, 6 days going out and getting on the piss, where you then feel horrific the next day, you're really, really going to struggle to make progress. And take it from me, right? Take it from someone who has tried to do this. It's really, really hard, right? Because if you work for 6 days, right, and then on the seventh day you go out, or let's say you work for 5 days, then on the sixth day you go out and you get absolutely smashed, right, with your mates. You wake up the next day, you feel like shit. You get nothing done on that seventh day. But not only that, the night of sleep you got was awful, because everyone knows when you drink a lot of alcohol, your sleep is terrible. So you're probably going to get 2 hours of sleep, maybe 3, but the quality of it's going to be terrible. Even if you have 10 pints and go to bed at 11 p.m. and they get up at 8 a.m., because of the alcohol, your sleep quality is going to be much lower. So you wake up the next day, you feel hungover, you haven't had good sleep, right? So your recovery is bad, right? So you feel pretty shit on the Sunday. Now come to Monday morning, you're then trying to get up and get into a routine, right? Waking up the same time that you maybe woke up at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the week before. You're really going to struggle to do that. You're going to wake up, you would have already lost loads of sleep from the night before, right? So you're trying to wake up, you have lack of sleep, you have lack of energy. And I find I have lack of clarity as well. I don't feel sharp on that Monday. If I go out and I drink on the Saturday or the Friday night and I have a big night, on the Monday, I do not feel sharp. Work-wise, I'm struggling. I'm struggling to get through work. I'm tired. My energy levels are low. So the best way to do it, and the best way I've combated this, is go through periods where you don't drink, right? Go through periods where you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks where maybe on the weekend, have a pint, maybe 2 pints, nothing crazy, right? But you don't go out on a massive session, right? You don't go out and get absolutely hammered. And in those 8 weeks, watch your progress, right? Look how far you'll get, because you're going to bed consistently at the right times. You're getting really good sleep, so your energy is going to be high. You're feeling dialed because of you're not having alcohol. You're able to concentrate on things, and when you concentrate, you do better work. You do harder work, so you feel better about yourself, and that then it's like an effect, like a snowball effect. You then feel better, you feel better going into work, you work better, you get better results, and you progress better. Whilst again, if you go through a period where maybe you get 5 days in, right, Monday you feel a bit shit, even still on Tuesdays, you're feeling, I still feel like not amazing. Wednesday, Thursday, okay, I feel better now. I'm getting into some sort of routine, right, I'm feeling good. Then Friday comes around, and guess what? You're back on it again, and you've gone out and got absolutely smashed. And then on Saturday, guess what? You feel like shit again. Then Sunday, you're still lacking sleep. And it's like this vicious cycle where you can't get in a proper routine. So how I found it works best, and from someone who, I'm doing pretty well, right, financially at the moment. I run a business, right? Over the past couple of years, I've made considerable amounts of money for my age. And the reason I managed to do that is because I have stints of growth of work. So I'll say to myself, right, so from October till December, I'm basically going to lock in. Maybe there'll be one event that I'll go to. So for example, I'm going to watch Chris Eubank v Conor Benn in London on the 15th of November. So I know that event is coming, right? I know that day I'm going to want to go and I'm going to want to have a fair few drinks with my friends and enjoy that event, right? So I know that that's there. So what am I going to do? I'm going to prepare for that. So what day is it today? It's the 27th of October. So I haven't had any drink for like 10 days. I didn't have any weekend just gone. Weekend before I had a few, but nothing crazy. So my plan now is I'm not going to have any alcohol until the 15th of November. I'm going to lock in and I'm going to get as much work done as I can and stay absolutely dialed so that when I then do have that one day where I go to this boxing event and I will have a few drinks, because you don't need to go out throughout life, in my opinion, and just not drink alcohol, right? I think that there's definitely a place. And if you're someone who believes that you can't have more fun with alcohol, then I think that's complete bullshit. Because when you go out and when you see friends and you do drink, it's fun. It makes the event more fun. But in the same breath, if you're trying to progress, you need to do what I'm telling you to do now. And this is where I've seen the most progress. Block out times, a month, 2 months, where you're barely going to drink. Maybe there's one event that you might go to, but you're going to stay locked in on work. And then have a time where you know, okay, I know that I'm going to be doing XYZ event here, or Christmas time, for example. Everyone's back in your hometown, you're seeing all your friends, you're going out, you're having drinks, you've got Christmas. If you don't want to feel guilty in that time about work, do all the work now in preparation for that time. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I've got the event on the 15th where I'm going to watch the boxing, right? And then I'm going to lock in again. And then I've got Christmas where I know I'm going to be drinking, spending time with my family, with my friends, having fun. Because the last thing you want to do is just not drink any alcohol and not actually enjoy yourself, right? If you want to enjoy events and go see people and have drinks and, have a few beers with your friends, right? You're going to want to do it. And I don't agree with the guys who say cut it out completely. But the best way to combat it is find periods of the year where you're going to be dialed and you're going to be locked in. And then periods of the year where I am going to go out and have a few drinks, or I know I'm going to go out till 4 a.m. with my mates and just be a bit of a degenerate. But it's okay because I planned ahead and I know that this was happening and I've done all the work previously. So that one, I don't feel guilty. Because if you're anything like me and you're a hard worker and you're a top performer in what you do, you will feel guilty, right? When you're having drinks, you'll think, oh, what am I doing? I should be locked in. I should be doing this. I should be focusing on work, right? And I get that. But in order to combat that as much as you can, do all the work before, do all the work previously in run up to the event or in run up to the time where you're going to be having a few nights out with your boys, and do all the work before so you then don't feel guilty. And that's the best way I've combated it. At the end of the day, in my life, I'm aiming for fulfillment. And fulfillment is working hard on my business, achieving success with that and helping people, of course. But then it's also having fun with my friends, going out and having a few drinks every now and then, going traveling and going for a few beers in a new country and going on a night out. Of course, I'm going to do that, right? Because that's what I find is fulfilling. New experiences with new people and having fun, but also locking in. So if you're anything like me and you're similar to me and you always find yourself in this balance of like, I want to lock in and I want to work and I want to get better at whatever I'm doing, but I also want to go out and have a few drinks. Block your times. Block your times, because if you do it where you work 3 or 4 days in the week and then enjoy your weekends, you're in this vicious cycle where you can't make any progress. Whilst if you go, yes, nothing for 4 weeks, then I'm going to have a night out, you'll make way more progress. You'll go so much further than splitting it up per week. So that would be my advice, and that's something that has worked really, really well for me.